G'day, Mike here from agencysavvy.com with module 2 of our AdWords Fundamentals course. And in this module, we're going to dig into the lingo. What's all this jargon inside there? And I'll give you a bit of a tour through the AdWords interface, which if you haven't been into AdWords recently, you're probably going to see something that looks like this. Now, not every account has been upgraded to this interface yet. So if you don't see this, if you're still seeing the old interface, don't panic. You will see this very soon in your account. And if you are looking at something that looks a bit different to this in your AdWords account, keep a look out down the bottom right-hand corner for a big blue button that says try the new look or try the new AdWords interface. If you click on that big blue button down in the bottom right-hand corner, then you'll come into this. I'm going to focus on this because by the end of 2017, pretty much everybody will have access and will be using this interface. So I'm going to focus all of my time on how you drive and how you use this new interface. The functionality is exactly the same. So everything I'm saying will be the same in the old interface. You'll just be clicking on a different button in order to find it. So I'm going to walk you through this, and I'm just going to walk down all the tabs over here on the left-hand side. You can see I'm starting on the Overview tab. This is where you'll land when you log into AdWords. You'll land on this Overview tab. There's a few other little widgets that you can't see a little bit below this, but it essentially just gives you the overview, obviously, of what's inside your account, the list of your top campaigns, what's been changing, which days and hours are working well for you, and a couple of other things. Just a quick overview. Personally, I tend to jump off this page as quickly as possible and dive into one of the other tabs that's going to give me a little bit more detail. So let's go to the second tab down, the Opportunities tab. Now there's a huge variety of things that Google are going to suggest for you here. Now there's no team of human beings sitting in an office somewhere in Hyderabad typing all of these in. This is all generated by the machine. And this gets better and better and better every month as the machine learns what works and what doesn't, and what people implement and what they don't. So take these suggestions with a large grain of salt. Nobody has thought that hard about this. This is all generated by a computer. Sometimes they're great. Often they're completely rubbish. So just bear that in mind. I mean, look at that. The second one down on the right-hand side. If you do this, you might get 1 extra click a week. Woohoo! That's worth doing. Thank you, Google. But there are loads of different things that Google might suggest on here. There's a list of about 60 or so currently, and they're probably adding to that all the time. Have a look through it. You may find useful opportunities, but you can safely ignore this tab for now. The next tab are the campaigns. So a campaign is the main building block of your AdWords account. Inside of an AdWords account, you can have multiple campaigns. And I'll talk about this a little more when we get to the module on campaigns and ad groups, where we talk about the structure of Google AdWords. For now, just know that a campaign is that main building block. And if we go down to the next tab, the ad group tab, a campaign contains multiple ad groups. Well, it can just contain one, but one or more ad groups. And the ad group is the thing that holds your keywords and your ads. So a keyword, and again, we'll cover this in the next module, but a keyword is what you put into your AdWords account that says to Google, if someone's searching for something similar enough to this keyword, show them my ad. And here's an ad. You put those keywords and the ads in ad groups, you put those ad groups into campaigns, and you put the campaigns into your account. I'll show you a picture when we get to the campaigns module that hopefully reinforces that hierarchy and that structure. Let's keep moving down the side here. Our next tab is the Ads and Extensions tab. Extensions, I'll cover this in a later module as well, are additional bits of information, really, that you can add to your ads, which make your ads stand out more, which help the user see if they should be clicking on your ad or someone else's. Google wants you to use extensions. They kind of ethically bribe you to use extensions. I'll talk about that in a later module, but these are where you find the extensions in your account. So I'm not trying to explain everything at this point, just give you a bit of an understanding of where all the pieces go. We're not going to cover videos in this topic, so we'll skip over that tab and go to keywords. Again, we'll talk about this in the next module, but the keywords tab, that's where you'll find all of the various types of keyword that live in your account. Keyword is just a word or a phrase. It can be multiple words in a keyword. That's something that you choose that lives inside your account. And if that keyword is similar enough to what the person is searching for on Google, then your ad has a chance to show. There's also these things called negative keywords, which I'll talk about in the final module. And I'll talk about search terms, which you can see at the top there. I'll talk about that in the module when we get to keywords. A search term is essentially just what the person typed into Google, called a search term or a search query. A keyword is what lives inside your AdWords account, is the thing that you choose whether it's there or not. And then obviously you can see on this screen, you can see how much you're choosing to bid, which is the CPC, the cost per click. The max CPC is the maximum cost per click that you are prepared to give to Google if somebody were to click on your ad. So you can see the keyword at the top here. I've blurred out the keyword, but you can see the max CPC for that particular keyword is $6. And if you follow your eye all the way across to the right, underneath average cost, it's actually cost on average a little under $3 for every click. We've had 1,343 clicks, which Google shows here in those interactions. So about 1,300 people have clicked on my ad. An impression is when the ad has been shown. That's the 87,679 number there that you see. So the ad's been shown 87,000 times. About 1,300 people clicked on it, which works out to be 1.53%. So Google's just doing the maths for us. 1,343 divided by 87,679 apparently gets us 1.53. Thank you, Google. I'll believe it. So 1.5 people out of every 100 clicked on our ad. It cost us roughly $3 per click. So 1,300 clicks at around $3 a pop ends up costing you a shade under $4,000. So this one keyword has cost this particular advertiser about $4,000. To pull in 1,343 people to their website, people that are looking for exactly what this business offers. And that's why AdWords is such a profitable thing. I'll talk a little bit about optimization later and what you can do to change how much you pay for those clicks, but that's essentially the game. And that's the meaning of now pretty much all the vocabulary that you need to understand in order to be able to run an AdWords account. A couple more tabs just to cover off here. I'm going to obviously skip over a couple. Again, I want to give you the 20% that gets you the 80% of the way there. So I don't want to overwhelm you and talk about stuff that you really don't need to worry about for a couple of months. We can always come back to that later. And I'll tell you how you can get more training with me later if you really, really want that. We've got a settings tab here. These are the settings for your particular campaign. So you get to choose things like where do the ads show? You can see locations here, the 5th line down. Ads in this campaign are showing in Argentina. We're showing to people that speak English and Spanish. We have a daily budget of $1,000 a day. You get to choose that. If you only want to spend $5 a day, you can spend $5 a day. If you want this campaign to finish on, I don't know, Independence Day, you can set this end date, July 4th, 2017, and know that you don't have to remember to go in and pause anything. Google's just going to take care of that for you and end your campaign on the date that you set. We rarely use those, but you can do that should you want to. They're the main settings that you need to worry about. The locations, as I mentioned, you can set down to a very, very, very small area. If you're in the States, you can go all the way down to zip code level and say to Google, only show my ads in these particular zip codes. I'm not going to go into excluded locations much here, but you can, kind of as a safety measure, you can say to Google, do not show my ads in specific locations. But you get to choose. That's the important thing. You get to choose how much you're bidding on this particular keyword. In other words, how much you're going to spend if someone clicks. You get to choose the daily budget for this campaign. Again, the campaign is a collection of ad groups, which is a collection of keywords. You get to choose how much all of that is spending, and you get to choose exactly where those ads show. So you have all of the control. You're not going to melt a credit card when you start running Google AdWords if you follow the training, if you get it set up the right way. You even get to choose the time of day when your ads show. So if you want to turn ads off on the weekend or in the evening or early morning, you can. You can bid more for certain days. If you look towards the bottom of the screen here, you can see that this advertiser is choosing to increase their bid. That's what bid adjustment means there. Increase their bid by 10% on Mondays and increase it by 1% on Thursdays. So again, you have complete control over when the ads show. And if we go down to devices, you even get to choose the device that your ads show on. So this particular campaign is set up to only show ads on mobile phones. This is not very intuitive. This is Google's way of turning off computers and tablets. There's not an on-off switch. You have to change the bid. It's wonderful, isn't it? Change the bid to minus 100%, which means bid nothing. So don't show ads. Not very intuitive, I know, but the reason they do that is because you can have this bid adjustment. You can go from minus 90% all the way up to plus 900% if you really wanted to. So you can say bid 10 times more on computers than the other stuff if you really wanted. You're not going to do that, but you could. So if you want to turn ads off on mobiles and off on tablets, you'd put mobile to be at minus 100% and tablet to be minus 100% and just leave your ads running on computers. And the reality is this is a very powerful way, so you can bid differently on different devices, way beyond the scope of this particular training, but I just want you to know that that is an option and to understand that you can bid differently on different devices. And then skipping over the advanced stuff, obviously for now, I just lastly wanted to point out the change history option down at the bottom there. So if you ever think, oh, I don't know what I did last week, has that messed something up? You can come into change history and Google will tell you exactly what you changed. You can filter this just by clicking within that red box there that I've drawn around that area on the screen. If you wanted to see what all of the budget changes were that you've made over the last month, you would just come in and click on that budget changes where there's 7 changes and it will filter the information below and only show you the budget changes. And you can roll these back. You can undo changes very easily. You can actually see that on the left-hand side underneath the top 2 there. Those particular type of changes can be undone. So there's a big blue undo link. If you wanted to undo that, you can. Certain changes can't be undone. Now, if you look towards the top of the screen, and I've had to blur a little bit of private information out here, but if you click on those 3 dots, I'm going to call it the traffic light icon as we go through. So you can see there's 4 icons and my mug over there on the top right of the screenshot. The traffic light icon, the second one along, if you click on that, you get a whole bunch of other options. You can ignore pretty much everything in here for now. The keyword planner, I'm going to talk very briefly about when we get to the keyword module. The ad preview and diagnosis is sometimes useful. You do not need to worry about it when you're starting out with Google AdWords, but useful to know that it's there if you want to see your competitor ads or you want to try and understand why you might not be seeing your ad. Ad preview is a great place to do that. For now, ignore everything under shared library and bulk actions. The measurement column over here, we're going to talk about conversions when we get to the tracking module. And we'll talk about billing, obviously. In order to get your ads running, you need to give Google your credit card, and you do that underneath billing and payments. And the way it works, roughly speaking, is Google accrues a cost. So you get clicks, and then Google comes along and says, right, now I need to take $500 off your credit card. Thanks very much. And it keeps the ads running, assuming that you pay. And that's all automatic. And then you get more clicks. Google says, right, you've run up a tab of $500. Let me take $500 off your card. And then once you build up a little bit of trust with Google, it'll do that every $1,000 or so. You can do invoicing once you're spending, generally the limit's about, you've got to be spending about $5,000 a month for about 3 months, and then you can move to invoicing, which means you don't have to pay Google until 45 days after the end of the month. But it's a pretty good deal. Just stick with the normal one, put it on your credit card, get some frequent flyer points, and you don't pay until after you've had the click. So by that point, you've had the person into your website. Hopefully you've made some money from those customers and you can afford to pay Google for the cost of the clicks. And if you want a little bit more information about what all the things are, or you can't remember how I explained it, or you see a new word in there that you don't understand what something is, there is a glossary inside the Google system, and that URL at the top of the screen there So GOO.gl / all lowercase, unless I say otherwise, UVUBN for Nelly, and then a capital K. So that little shortcode there, that'll take you directly to, which is a much, trust me, easier URL than the actual URL of that page. That'll take you in to the glossary, or just do a Google search for Google AdWords glossary, and I'm sure you'll find that page and a whole bunch of blog posts very similar. So there's probably 200 odd words on there. If you ever get stuck, head to that page, find the word and understand the meaning. Like I say, understand the meaning of the words and everything else makes a ton more sense. I'll see you in the next module where we're going to talk about business goals.